Fallout 4 is getting a massive update. Praise be Todd Howard. I bet everyone's very excited, obviously, because the last time Bethesda decided to update any of their games, it went so well, especially for Fallout 4. And I know you're already devastated, dreading, and completely, literally shaking, obviously, because that's what normal people do in situations when Bethesda says, hey, we're gonna update Fallout 4. What a bunch of talentless losers. Amazing. In any case, just to make this so much worse, it's on consoles. Starfield doesn't still even run on consoles for the literal majority of people, and now Bethesda has decided, hey, we're gonna update Fallout 4, and they're gonna give you more storage space. That's right. That's right. You person who is a Bethesda fan, that's why you use that's why you use mods, who obviously is for some reason playing on console. Yes, yes. Obviously, the mod support needs to be done for console. Now, what do you think this is gonna lead to? The game crashing, breaking? Maybe we can go higher this time. God knows Todd has one more in him. Maybe it's gonna be, your console shutting off and on frantically. Maybe it's just gonna somehow break the console. Maybe it turns into a explosive device. Who knows? Who knows? With Bethesda, all bets are on, except that it's gonna be a good update that actually doesn't ruin things. Okay, that part is off though. That part's definitely off.
Fallout 4 is about to change in a huge way on consoles, and after months of delays, Bethesda has finally confirmed the massive Fallout 4 Creation Storage update arrives very soon. For years, console players have struggled with tiny storage limits that force them to constantly delete mods and cut back.
For years also, modding has not existed on consoles because no one plays Fallout on consoles.
Load orders, but now it's finally changing, and for a lot of players, Fallout 4 is about to feel completely different. Before we get into it, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications on to stay up to date with all the latest Fallout news. The headline here is obviously the new storage limits, and on Xbox Series X and Series S consoles, Fallout 4's creation storage is increasing from the 2GB that we've had for several years to a scalable 100GB of storage. That's an enormous jump, and honestly something many fans never thought Bethesda would actually do. I mean, we saw this limit in Starfield with their creations limit, and at this point we didn't really think they would do the same thing retroactively for Fallout 4 over a decade later. Meanwhile,
who the hell actually... Who the fuck didn't actually consider this? This was the obvious thing to happen. Honestly, at this rate, maybe we're gonna get something like that for... No. First would have to be the Creations Club for, Fallout 3. Because Bethesda doesn't know where to get fucking money. The only thing that they know is how to sell shitty mods at this point. That's it. No one's buying their games. No one's excited for the next release. Everyone has already taken the money that they saved to buy the next Elder Scrolls game and spent it on cocaine and hookers, probably, because that's more reasonable than giving Bethesda that money. So the only thing that Bethesda can do at this point is pretty much try and milk the console plebs, or, the people who use mods and are actually, not using them for free, because most mods are free and available. But I guess it's a convenience thing in this case, so I'm not too judgmental on that. It's reasonable, for each their own, I guess. But still, Bethesda's desperate. And the only way that they know how to make money at this point is trying to extort the modder bases. For Fallout, for Starfield, for everything. They want a piece of that pie because they don't know what else to do.
Over on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One consoles are all moving up to roughly 15GB of storage instead of the old 1GB or 2GB limits. That's still a massive increase compared to what players have had for years now, and this new update you won't have to wait too long for because it arrives on May 27th. With this update, Bethesda says the goal is to allow for larger, more ambitious creations, and that really is the biggest part of this update. Before this, console players had to be pretty picky with their mods. Installing a few texture upgrades or large quest mods could completely eat through the available space almost instantly. A lot of players on console ended up spending more time managing storage than actually playing the game. Now, especially on Xbox.
Well, that's what you get for trying to play Fallout on a console, honestly. No, not. Listen, I get it. I get it. The controller is sometimes nice to use. Said the person who literally refused to use a controller. But at the same time, I mean, I don't have that much sympathy for the console people, okay? You literally buy a console, you know it's not gonna have any of the things that you want it to have, like PC does, and then you complain about the console not having the things. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's kind of a self-inflicted wound at this point.
Series X and S consoles, players are finally going to have enough room to build huge load orders similar to what PC players have enjoyed for years now. And at the end of the day, I'm sure there will be a lot more that console players will be able to enjoy when it comes to the...
Wait, huge load orders, but... I thought the console doesn't have load orders. What? Oh no, it doesn't have the script extended, right?
Modding side of things in Fallout 4, but it's also important to note that the mods on PC that rely on the script extender still will not work on console. But honestly, just the additional storage space changes the entire experience of playing Fallout 4 on console. Let's just hope the update goes well.
You should run, these things explode.
And doesn't break the entire game in the process. What do you guys think about this new Fallout 4 update? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. This update is a much bigger deal than it might sound at first. Mods are one of the main reasons Bethesda games stay alive for so many years after they originally release. Skyrim, Fallout 4, and even older Bethesda RPGs still have huge player bases because the modding community keeps creating new content long after the game's original release. The problem is that console players have always been far more limited compared to PC players. Over on the PC side of things, people have been building
self-inflicted problems don't count, in my opinion.
Gigantic mod lists for years now, with hundreds of mods completely transforming Fallout 4 into basically a different game. And of course, console players technically had mod support too, but the storage limits made it pretty difficult to really take advantage of it. That's why so many fans are calling this one of the most important Fallout 4 updates ever released for consoles.
I don't think anyone's calling it that, if I'm being... Okay, real time, boys. Is this AI? Is this an AI video? It doesn't talk like it per se, but a lot of things are, you know, you like the video, the subscribe thing. But you should like the video right now. It takes less than a second. I mean it. So subscribe, please. Do it now. Thank you. But, you know, it seems a little bit odd. It seems just kind of like Reddit the opinion once again.
Xbox Series X and S players especially, 100 gigabytes is absolutely a massive update. Some people are already joking that the game basically has a second life now because players can finally push Fallout.
No one's saying that.
Fallout 4 modding far beyond what was possible before on console.
Also, unironically, no one's going to be able to do that because it's not going to work. It's probably, again, it's unironically probably going to be broken. Whatever.
Honestly, that assertion's probably right here. Even though Fallout 4 originally launched back in 2015, this update could massively increase the game's lifespan.
Holy shit, it's been that long, huh?
All over again. But there is one major thing players need to know before downloading this upcoming update for Fallout 4. Bethesda has confirmed that the update will unfortunately reset console load orders, and there's no real way of avoiding that. That means if you already have a carefully organized mod setup in this instance, there's a very good chance it could completely get wiped or break after the update installs. The company is specifically warning players with saves older than November 10th, 2025, because those saves are expected to be impacted the most. Thankfully, Bethesda also provided a way to back everything up before the patch arrives. Players can go into the Creations menu, open the Load Order menu, select Load Order Archive, and then save their current setup directly.
Bro, I mean, I have heard this so many times that you need to do this, otherwise your things are gonna get wiped, blah, 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 blah. And I think this is just peak peak how bad Bethesda is as a company. The incompetence, the inability to improve, the inability to not even do basic functionality. I mean, we're talking about the company that's now effectively returning bugs that haven't existed for decades in Skyrim some magically fucking how. No one even knows how, but they're doing it anyway. And it's the fact that Bethesda can't automate this. Bethesda literally can't automate this. You need to do this because Bethesda doesn't know how to do this automatically. If this doesn't show you how bad Bethesda is, I honestly don't think anything will, which is the funny part.
To Bethesda.net. After this new update goes live on the 27th, players can restore that saved load order instead of rebuilding everything manually from scratch. Bethesda's also recommending that players create a fresh save for ongoing playthroughs just to avoid any possible issues. And honestly, this part's pretty important because Fallout 4 modding can already be fragile enough without a major system overhaul happening underneath everything. Anyone at this point who spent hours building a stable mod list probably does not want to lose it because they skipped the backup step. If you want to know more, Bethesda has uploaded these instructions over on their website as well. One thing a lot of players immediately notice with this new update is how much better the Xbox version is being treated compared to those over on PlayStation. Xbox Series X and S are getting the full 100GB upgrade, while PS5 is capped at around 50.
I mean, we all know that. Granted, I kind of understand this is not even Bethesda being trash or Xbox being incompetent. This is just they obviously don't want to give the good experience to PlayStation. Now, granted, even if they tried, do we honestly think they're gonna get the good experience? No, they would not be able to do it properly anyway. But it's still pretty funny that this happens, and PlayStation punishes them by typically issuing refunds. Like, for example, when Starfield got released on PlayStation 5 finally, that PlayStation was like, well, we have refunded people roughly like 2 or 3 times their entire lives en masse because the game was just that buggy, incompetent, and shit. And, well, Starfield became the 3rd or 4th game they do that on, which is hilarious because, again, that was obviously intended. That was intended to just, make them look incompetent. So you can expect that Bethesda games not working on PlayStation.
15GB alongside Xbox One and PS4. Bethesda has not directly explained the difference, but most people assume it comes down to Sony's restriction on mods and external assets. PlayStation modding has always been more limited than over on the Xbox side of things, because Sony, they unfortunately don't really allow certain types of custom content that Microsoft permits. That's been an ongoing issue going all the way back to Skyrim Special Edition and Fallout 4's original console mod launch. Even with the similar increase though, 15GB is still a huge improvement for PlayStation players. A lot of players have managed to do impressive things with only 1 or 2 gigabytes over the years, so jumping all the way up to 15 gigabytes still opens the door for far bigger load orders and more ambitious mod setups. But of course, there's no question that Xbox Series X and S players are getting the biggest win here. 100 gigabytes is genuinely getting close to PC level freedom for console modding. And I'm not smart enough to tell you if it's possible or not, but maybe one day we get some sort of script extender on console and really open up the amount of mods console players have access to. Maybe in the next year or two in the next console generation with this new Xbox Helix project that's rumored to be more like a PC.
Yes, I'm sure people are gonna buy the Xbox PC instead of, just the PC. It's already bad what Microsoft is doing to, well, listen, Microsoft is already creating, I wonder why, by the way, I wonder who from India is responsible for this. In any case, Microsoft is already creating issues that have never been, never existed before. Especially, by the way, if you're a YouTuber, you feel this a lot because the YouTube studio is broken 5 different ways every day, and I'm not making that up. I am being dead fucking ass real, okay? The YouTube is if you upload videos, YouTube is broken at least 2 different ways every single day. It's hilarious. It's fucking hilarious. So, You got Windows that barely functions at this point and has pretty much doubled like things like Linux's, user base pretty much at this point just because of their fucking immeasurable incompetence. And you think people are gonna buy Microsoft that's condensed and created a gaming platform? Bro, that sounds like a horrible experience. That sounds something I would pay you to not give me, in fact. Holy moly! Are we being for real here? Again, I would rather pay you to not do this to me than give you money to willingly do this. Project Helix is gonna be a massive, massive disaster. Okay? And if it's not a disaster, you know what that's gonna show? That's gonna show people who probably want to make a lot of money, who want to make businesses, entrepreneur type of shit, that there is actually a huge market still remaining where people want to buy pre-built PCs and whatnot. And people are going to get into that market and probably completely outcompete Xbox because, I mean, any reasonably small company is probably going to be better quality than Xbox at this point, or Microsoft in the general sense. So this is not going to work. Project Helix, who the fuck is going to buy it?
Will make something like this possible. What makes this even more interesting is the timing. Fallout 4 has had a rough relationship with updates lately. The Anniversary Edition update caused major problems.
Also, if you don't believe me, who of you actually enjoyed the Xbox gaming thing on Windows, or do you want to try to cancel it, remove it, or make it never show up? Exactly.
For a lot of players, broke mods, created stability issues, and sparked a ton of backlash from the community. Since then, Bethesda has been trying to slowly repair that damage while also keeping Fallout 76 alive and continuing work on their future projects like The Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5. This new creation storage update feels like one of the first genuinely exciting wins for Fallout 4 players have had.
Wins, he says. Well, I mean, good luck with that. That was the end, yeah. Didney, maybe. I'm not sure. In any case, 10 out of 10. Have a nice day. Bye.